Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 947 for the 27th of September. So fast, October is coming soon. No, scary shit. Time flies. Anyway, we're gonna start off with the Kursk front. The frontline changes report is already out, so no, as usual, it's on the main channel. So check it out. And this is the war channel, so press the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. And over the Kursk front, I have deleted all the bombardment shelling information because I have decided to drop it altogether, and because yeah, I after a while I realized that it doesn't really add much, so it's just a waste of time, so I deleted it because the battle of the Kursk front has gone on for too long, and it become just yet another front line. So the detailed coverage of the shelling wouldn't matters at all anymore. So, and also the Ukrainians still on the counter offensive. They are attacking over in the let me adjust at Novi Put as well as Medvedze. They're also counter attacking over at Lyubimovka. Russian forces counter attacks over at Novi Put, over at uh the region near Uspenovka, then Nikolai Darino, as well as Lyubimovka. So this is largely the general situation around here. The clash is largely over in Novi Put around here. The Ukrainians are counter-attacking. They are trying to break out, but it seems that the Russians are clashing with them. No, they can't really get out. Similar situation over at Medvedze. They just haven't really get out to anywhere else. So the fastest route doesn't seem to be the fastest way to reach there, as the Ukrainians' objective is Glushkovo. This is actually the big arrow move directly towards to Glushkovo, but so far it haven't done anything. In fact, I haven't even have information of any confirmation of Ukrainian forces capturing a Obod, which is a surprise, given how close to the border this is. There's no indication that they are there, or at least have this kind of a front line. So far we don't have any information about this. Over in the western flank, the Russian forces seems to have advanced around in the north of Uspenovka. This was confirmed by geolocation. Russian forces conquering one of the forests north of Uspenovka. Uspenovka is still a question mark. We still do not know who is actually controlling it. There is a conflict of information over there. Russian forces are pushing Darino and Nikolaevo Darino as usual. No change strategically. Similar situation over in Lyubimovka. Ukrainian forces and Russian forces are clashing at Lyubimovka. The front line is uncertain, so we shall continue to wait for more information. Otherwise, all these shelling reports, as we have deleted it, there's no more updates regarding the rest of the front line, except for in the southern flank, we have the Russian forces clashing with Ukrainian forces at Blakovo. Both are attacking, so tentatively we do not know what's the result. The battles are mostly in the western part of Borki. So otherwise, that's it from the Kursk front. There is a location of Iskander strike on Ukrainian troops over in the Skrapivskina. So, but that's about it. We move into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, the Russian forces are still on the offensive. This time round, we have fighting reported over in the Voschan sector. Fighting is reported at Voschansk as well as Taike. There's a geolocation of a Russian airstrike on Ukrainian positions at the aggregate plant. So taking the position also means that you become a target. Unfortunately, that's just how it works right now for them. We'll move on away to the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, the Russian forces are fighting in Sinkivka towards Kucherivka, as well as Stepova Novoselivka. So it's interesting because the Ukrainian Defense Ministry are the one that mentioned Kucherivka. So I'm not sure exactly how they reach here per se, because if you look into this, the settlement is actually covered by this is Petropavlivka. It's actually covered by it. This settlement is Kucherivka. So I'm not sure how the Russians reach here. So I'm not exactly sure how to really read this. Like they are attacking advanced to their positions near Kucherivka. So yeah, we just continue to wait and see how this continue to develop. Over in the Pischani front, we have fighting reported at Khrushchevka towards Krylyakivka as well as Lozova. So this is by mostly information from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. There is no Russian Defense Ministry report except for the Kursk front because they did a weekly summary over the past 24 hours, which is why you don't have anything to report on the specific place of fighting. All we have is the OSINT as open source intelligence, as well as the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. At the SITREP front, we have fighting reported over in Grakivka, Makievka, and Nevsky. There is a geolocation that shows the Ukrainian forces still in between Makievka and Nevsky, as such invalidating at least part of the Russian claims in this area. As I mentioned before, the claim is too exaggerating. Most likely the Ukrainians still have this line exactly like this, with the Russians having this duck over here, quack, yeah, and then and the northern part. So most likely this remains to be the front line, not the Russian claim that this very hopeful front line that they are hoping for. I know this is going to be the case, but we just have to map it the way how the Russians claim it. There's fighting reported at Novosadove, Torske, and Zarishny. This is according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Nothing special. So we move on to the Sivers front. There's no reports of any fighting at the Sivers front. First time in a long time. Over the Bakhmut front, the fighting in the northern flank is reported over at Khoikorivka as well as Chasivia. So this is the current situation in this area. Over in the southern flank, the fighting is reported as Tuposhki towards Peteshny as well as towards Bilahora. And there's geolocation of Russian forces along the canal, confirming Russian presence in this area. But that's about it that we have. We move into the Torex region in the New York front. At the New York front, Russian forces are attacking at Torex, Skibinivka, as well Nelipivka, as well as New York. So this information coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, trying to corroborate the information from Deep State UA, claiming that the Russian forces have made some advance in the New York region, as well as Nelipivka, capturing some grounds, according to the Ukrainian mapping. Which is obviously very weird, because the Ukrainian Defense Ministry themselves have talked about battles being fought over in Skibinivka and Leonidivka region. So how the Russians able to fight in this area without the capture of Nelipivka or New York remains to be seen, unless they are saying that the Russians have made advances like this, which allow the Russians to attack Skibinivka, Leonidivka, Nelipivka at the same time, but that will have to concede that they have lost the entire southern part, the entire Zabalka region to the Russians, which is unlikely to be the case at this moment. At least we don't have information to prove that that's the case. Or the Russians actually become a snake, they become like this, and then they attack Skibinivka, Leonidivka, and Nelipivka. But the Russians did attack coming from the south, so which means that the Ukrainians are in this very weird salient. I do not know. Nothing makes sense here. So we just have to continue to monitor the situation around here. At Torex, the Russian forces are expanding into the suburb just off the other high ground in the east. And there is rumors based on the Ukrainian gray zones that the Russians have basically fought into the high-rise zone in the center of Torex. So the Russians are now breaking out into two different directions, and we shall see how this continue to develop, because there is very severe lack of information at Torex. We can't really tell what the hell is happening. Over off Zalizny, there is geolocation of Russian forces in the forest, gaining a little bit of grounds. So that's about it in this area of New York front. We move into the Pokrovsk front. In the northern flank, Russian forces attack at Vozdivzenka and Novotoretsky. So that's it from the northern flank. Over in the Horodivka sector, at the Novohorodivka sector, this is Pokrovsk, by the way, the prime objective. The Russian forces attack at Horodivka, Mykolaivka, Krasnaya, Krutiya, Sukiya, all the you see, Lisivka, and Dechansky, Novohorodivka, and the western part of Novohorodivka. So it is very, very central, a very curvy kind of attack. So the Russians are pushing everywhere in this area here. There seems to be a lot of focus moving westward, with this frontline change showing that the Russians are attacking towards Sukia and Lysivka, probably trying to secure this entire area here. The Russians are also pushing westward from Novokhodivka, heading towards Dechensky. Dechensky is mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, confirming the advance westward from Novokhodivka. The Ukrainians are also losing positions over in Mykolaiv, Krasnaya, and Krytia. Most likely, they are going to lose this position within the next 24-48 hours. The entire area is most likely going to be under Russian control, given the fact that it is no longer defendable. Except for Mykolaiv, I think there's still some chance in the western part. And the Russians are pushing in the Khodivka region as well. Geolocation of Ukrainian tank getting hit by FPV drone just off Promin was actually recorded. So that's the current situation over in this the Khodivka sector of the Pokrov front. As you can see, the current situation in this sector, as mentioned in the frontline changes report, is undefendable for the Ukrainians. There is the threat of the pincer, and also that this area here, the withdrawal will be hard. I think the distance between the two pincer is around 1.2 kilometers. It's not that wide, so the Ukrainians would have to withdraw from this area to prevent encirclement. They can still go into the forest line to defend the position, which is not too bad a position, which confirms that the Russians, at least the Ukrainians, will save their troops and that the Mykolaiv will not fall so quickly. But that will also mean that the Krytia is most likely gone by now, and within the next 48 hours, we will probably see the fall of Krasnaya to the Russians. So this is the current trajectory that we are looking at this moment. So we'll continue to monitor the situation as the Russians get closer and closer to Pokrov. Can you imagine, once upon a time, the front line is here, around Avdiivka. So now they are reaching all the way to Pokrov. That's so crazy, man. The distance between the current line to the previous line was merely 4 kilometers. Doesn't sound like a very, very big place. I mean, not 4 kilometers, 40 kilometers. Okay, that is a very, very huge place. How the hell did I see wrongly? Okay, it's 40 kilometers. So it's a lot of grounds captured. So yeah, it is what it is. Marinivka, south of this Khodivka region, the Russian forces are attacking from the south towards SELYDOVE. So they're attacking from south towards SELYDOVE. They have also almost fully captured Marinivka according to the Ukrainian mappings. So the Ukrainians are still holding the line very strongly over at SELYDOVE. The Russians have not been able to break through, which is why the Russians are now heading for a southern attack, which will allow the Russians to create a two-pronged attack on SELYDOVE. The Russians could also potentially advance south from the salient west of Novokhodivka to create the third direction of attack. That is likely to be happening, I feel. It's just sensible operations. So let's see how these continue to develop in this area. Geolocation along the highway of a Max Pro armored vehicle getting hit on the highway by FPV drone. So Russian forces geolocated here. So they are actively attacking into the south of SELYDOVE. Moving into the Khernik region, the Khernik region became very quiet. There's only one geolocation of a Russian airstrike at Khernik. The Russians are pushing southward towards Sukharine, and so that's all we have from the Khernik region. And we move into the Vodyane-Konstantinivka front. Russian forces attacking at Georgievka, Konstantinivka, towards Katerinivka, at Vodyane, and towards Bohov-Yevlenka. Geolocation of Russian flamethrower drone, the Dragon drone, attacking Ukrainian positions at Katerinivka. So that's about it. Very complicated front around here. This front line is very big. This is like 20 kilometers. So yeah, this is quite a troublesome front line to deal with. But let's see how this continue to develop. Over in the Voleda region, there is no change in terms of the tactical situation around at Voleda. There is claims of physical encirclement of Voleda, but I think that's inaccurate. We don't have any information regarding this. I think the front line largely remains the same, as the Russians are just bombarding Voleda into submission. I think that's the objective at this moment. There is claims, some videos of Ukrainian soldiers surrendering at Voleda. The videos the soldiers already like got captured already. So not sure how they capture them. So we're not sure how the situation is developing. All the claims that the Russians have encircled, I don't think that is true. No one of the credible sources is telling that's the case. So we will continue to monitor the situation at Voleda. Over at the Velika Novosilka sector, there is fighting reported towards Novodarivka, but that's about it. That's all we have. I don't think this is something significant. We move into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, Russian forces are attacking in the region of Robotine, in the Orkhiv sector, as well as Mali Shibaki. So over in the Kayamsky sector. But that's it. This as I mentioned, Zaporizhia front have not developed into a full offensive just yet, so this is all that we have. And we move into the Kherson front. At the Kherson front, we have only the usual, the fighting reported towards Pridniprovsky, which is over here. This is Pridniprovsky, the Russians allegedly attacking in that direction, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. But that's all we have. There's no shelling being reported in the region because the Russians did not do their daily summary. So that's it. So this is the summary for the day of 947 for the 27th of September. Press the like button to subscribe. Check out the DPA open mic. If once it's up, I will put it here. If not, check out the conclusions, and I'll see you guys in the next update.